Happy Tuesday, everyone. Hope everybody had a fabulous Memorial Day weekend. The weather certainly was not wonderful here. So we will go here and see if anyone's on. And as you come on, go ahead and give me a shout out. If you're new to my channel, let me know where you're watching from. And we'll wait a minute or so just to see who jumps on. And then we will get started. Oh gosh, the weather was so nice today. Nathan and I played out in the dirt. Well, he played in the dirt, I watched. Hello, Laura. Hello, Jennifer. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining. Hope you had a wonderful day on the deck. I know I was enjoying mine. I bought a new umbrella stand and I had Ron help me get it out of the back of the car today, and I thought we were going to have to carry it all the way to the backyard, and wouldn't you know it, my husband, he's so much smarter than me. He says, hey, why don't we use the hand truck? And we'll just roll it back there. And I went, great, good idea. Let's do that. So I didn't have to carry it at all. So it weighs 66 pounds, just the base. All right. Well, my name is Teresa Harper, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. You can shop my online store for Stampin' Up! Products at teresaharper.stampinup.net. And you can check out my projects on my blog at kntdesignsbyteresa.blogspot.com. All right, I have just a couple of reminders for you tonight. One is that the Join special ends tonight, so the extra free products will be gone at 10:59 p.m. tonight. And tomorrow starts a new promotion, buy one, get one free on the Kits collection. Kits collections are not in our catalog, so you must go on the customer website. And you can find that at teresaharper.stampinup.net, or you can go to stampinup.com and check out the Kits collection. You'll go into the menu in the upper left corner, scroll down and click on Kits collection, and then it will take you to all the kits that we have. We have a new one, I believe, starting tomorrow. It's a journaling kit, so you'll want to for sure check that out. Hello, Cynthia. So glad you could join us tonight. All right, well, we're going to be using the On the Horizon Suite collection tonight. You'll find that in the mini catalog on pages 42 and 43. And it is retiring at the end of the month. So everything is while supplies last. We're going to be using the stamp set, the dies, and the pebbles today, along with the Designer Series paper. And I think that the new Horizon 6x6 Designer Series paper pack is one of the best packs that we've had. Hello, Tracy. Thank you for sharing, Jennifer. And last I checked, this was low inventory, so hopefully it's still in stock and not gone. Because come tomorrow, everything is while supplies last. That's in the mini catalog and retiring. All right, let's go ahead and jump in. Oh, wait a minute. I wanted to show you real quick. Look what came in the mail today. we have the new July to December 2022 mini and the celebration brochure. These will go live to customers on July 1. So let me know if you need a catalog. All right, let's get started. Our first project, hopefully I've got all my stamp colors here. I did make these a couple of days ago, so I hope I have it all together. I hope. Sometimes you think you got it all together and then you find out, hey, maybe you didn't. So let's go ahead. This is a pretty simple card. And we're going to be using the Fern 3D embossing folder. I love this embossing folder. This is in the new annual catalog. So be sure to check that out. Our card base is Night of Navy. And I went ahead and already ran that through my die cut machine. Now I want to give you a tip on this. When you're running this through your die cut machine, you're going to put this in. There's a black line at the bottom. I line mine up along the black line, and I line the left edge up with the edge. You'll find there's just like a 1/16 of an inch where there's no design, so I line that up at the edge of the design on the black line. And then I close it up like this, and I run it through my die cut machine like this. Now, you'll want to be very careful running this through the die cut machine. It's just the width of your cutting plate, so you want to make sure that you don't rake these edges against the side of the machine. So make sure that you've got it all squared up when you go to crank it on through. That'll save your die cut machine or your embossing folder. All right, then we have a piece of basic white, and this is 3 3/4 by 5. Actually, this is 3 5/8. What did I do with the 3 3/4? Oh, apparently I have the inside one and not the outside one. Oops. Well, let's fix that. Okay, so we need this to be 3 3/4. By 5. All right. So we're going to set this aside. We're not going to do anything with it at the moment. And we are going to start stamping. So from the Oceanfront stamp set, and that is a photopolymer stamp set. It carried over into the annual catalog, and you will find it on page 88 of the annual catalog if you're looking for it. I'm going to take this image, and I need to get some scrap paper. I'm going to put this off to the side of me. Piece of scrap paper here. I'm going to take Night of Navy. I'm going to ink that up. And I'm going to stamp it off. And then I'm going to go, a 1/2 inch down from the top in the center. And I'm going to set that down. And there's our image. So we're done with this. You know what? Let's go ahead and stamp our birds while we're here. And we've got the Night of Navy out. So I'm going to take the birds from On the Horizon. And I'm going to ink those up full strength. Night of Navy. And turn this direction. Some of these birds kind of fly up and down. They fly in a couple of, their wings are, make them look like they're flying in a couple of directions, but I like this one best. So now we can set aside our Night of Navy, and next we're going to go to Soft Succulent, and we're going to take this image, also from Oceanfront, and I'm going to ink that up in Soft Succulent. And because Soft Succulent is so light, I'm going to turn this around so I've got the straight edge at the top. And I'm going to use this full strength, and I'm setting it right at the edge of the Night of Navy so that it looks like I've got a horizon line. Okay. And then I'm going to take this image from Oceanfront, and I'm going to take Garden Green, and I'm going to ink that up, and I'm going to set it along the edge here at an angle. Then I'm going to ink it up again. I'm going to flip it. And I'm going to do it like so. Okay. Now, I'm going to bring in a bit of Evening Evergreen. And from the On the Horizon stamp set, I'm going to use this grassy image. And I'm going to set that down here along the bottom, like so. And then I'm going to take the trees. Where are my trees? Don't tell me I put those away. Let me check. No, my trees aren't out. They should be right here in front of my face, and they are. So I'm going to take this tree image from On the Horizon, and I'm going to set this down as close to the horizon line as I can. I'm just going to let that ink soak in for a minute. And this is what I have. Okay. So now, while it looks really pretty like this, we're going to take, and I'm going to take one of the dies from All That Dies. It comes in the He's the Man suite, which is in the annual catalog. And they're called the All That Dies, and this is what you get. So I've taken this image, and I'm going to lay this in here like so. Actually, I'm going to take this up just a bit. I want to just catch the edge of those trees. And then I'm going to take my sentiment, relax and enjoy your day. I'm going to ink that up in Early Espresso. Okay, and I'm going to set that down here. Now this particular card with this sentiment could be a birthday card, could be a retirement card, could be a Father's Day card. Just depends on what you write on the inside or stamp on the inside. Now, we're going to take and die cut this directly out of our paper here. We're going to put this on. I'm going to grab the large cut and emboss machine only because my cardstock won't fit through the mini. The die would fit, but the cardstock won't. So let's slide that out of the way. I'm going to grab my magnetic plate. And I'm going to set this in here, and I'm going to put this at an angle because the die will cut best and be less stress on my machine if I do it that way. So I'm just going to line this up how I want it. Then I'm going to place it on my base. And we'll bring in the large Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. We'll place that in the machine. Take plate 3. So I've got plate 1, plate 5, and now I'm adding plate 3. And I'm just going to run that through the machine. Okay. And because I put that in an angle, at an angle, you didn't hear any thunk when the die went through the machine. Okay. So now we've got our pieces. We can set our die to the side. And then we can bring our card base in. And before we adhere this, we're going to take a little bit of linen thread. And I'm going to have to guesstimate because I can't really get my thread all the way through here like I would like. So I'm just going to guess. I'm going to try 1, 2, 3. I'm going to guesstimate this will be enough. Okay. And if you want to know how much that is, it is about, let's see. Oh, cooperate. 12, about 18 inches is what I've pulled off. So I'm going to go ahead and put this out here to the side. And then I'm going to wrap this through the edge. And I want these to crisscross each other a bit. Okay, so I'm going to tighten that up. And then I'm just going to bring this in. I'm going to take this under one loop. Actually, I'm not. I'm just going to do this because it'll be easier. All right, so we're just going to take that and tie it down. And then we're going to... Got a little bit more on one end than I do on the other. But I've got enough. 18 inches should do ya. And there won't be much waste. Let's go ahead and pull this one through a little bit more. I don't want a large bowl because this is a masculine card. Okay, so I'm going to pull that down just a little bit more. You might be able to get away with 16 or 17 inches, depending on how you tie. Okay, so I'm just going to trim those off. And you definitely need to do this step first. Okay, then we can go ahead and we're going to attach this to our card. So let's fold up our card base and give it a burnish on the fold. Now this is a standard A2 card size. So that's 5.5 by 8.5 and scored in the center at 4 1/4. Okay. Then I'm going to take some Stampin' Seal. And I'm going to put Stampin' Seal on either side of that linen thread and at the bottom of my opening. Okay. So then I'm going to add this to my card and center it up as best I can. And then I'm going to grab some Stampin' Dimensionals and I'm going to turn this over and we're going to add those to the back. And I'm going to pop that up. This is one of those bad batches of dimensionals. They work perfectly, they just are a little bit cantankerous about getting off of the backing sheet. But they do their trick. So let's go ahead and peel those backings off. And then we'll place this. I like to place this edge in first. Line those edges all up. And if I get those edges lined up, the rest of this should drop right into place where it needs to. Fills that in and gives us kind of that eclipse technique. Okay, and there's the front of our card. Not too difficult. Went together pretty quickly. Okay, so on the, oh, I didn't finish the inside of this card. Huh. Well, what did I do with the inside piece that I had here? Oh my goodness. Right there. Okay, so for the inside of this card, I'm just going to take and put, I'm going to take my garden green again. And this time I'm going to get my scrap paper and I'm going to stamp it off. And I'm going to stamp this along the bottom. And then I'm going to turn it upside down. And I'm going to stamp it along there. I'm going to get that evening evergreen again. Along with the grass. And I'm just going to set this right here. All right. And finally, I'm going to take the Night of Navy on my birds. And I'm just going to stamp this in the upper left corner, like so. All right. Now, for a Happy Father's Day sentiment, I'm going to get Celebrate You. Celebrating You. Pretty sure this has it. Yep, Happy Father's Day in it. Now you could, this Celebrating You also has Happy Birthday. So you could easily change this to a birthday card. But I'm going to go ahead and make this a Father's Day card. I'm going to see if I can get this. Okay, so I'm going to line this up on this line. I'm going to put this at an angle. And again, I'm going to get that. I'm going to get the early espresso. And whoops, I over inked. Okay, let's see. Let's see if we can do this without rocking it. Stamp this, practice this down. Do it again. I need to twist it up a little bit, I think. And there we go. All right. Now we can add that to our card with a little bit of Stampin' Seal. And we've got a rather quick but beautiful Father's Day card, which of course, like I said, you could turn into a birthday card. Let's go ahead and stamp our envelope. And I'm basically going to do the same thing I did with the inside. Just going to stamp this down, flip it around. Get my grass. And there we are. Pretty quick. All right, there we go. That's card number 1. All right, let me do a little bit of stamp cleaning because we're going to need these stamps for the next project. And I forgot to wet my chamois. Okay, I have one more. There it is. All right. So let's set this aside and grab project number 2. All right. So for project number 2, we're using more die cuts than we did in project number 1. And we're going to be using a little bit different color palette. But there it is. We need this one. We've got some Evening Evergreen, Crushed Curry, Crumb Cake, Gray Granite, and Smoky Slate. Going to be using the New Horizons Designer Series paper, and like I said, this is one of my favorite packs of paper. I love how easy it is to make scenes with it. And I think this was on sale, New Horizons paper. Let me double check that for you. Nope, no sale on the New Horizons paper. Okay, so this time our card base is Crumb Cake. And of course it's the 5.5 by 8.5. Scored at 4 1/4. I'm just throwing my stamp pads away so that they're not in my stamping area. And then you'll need a scrap piece of crumb cake. And you're going to need a scrap piece of basic white, piece of the New Horizons Designer Series paper, a scrap of smoky slate, and then you're going to need some scraps of the New Horizons paper, and a scrap of Evening Evergreen. Now I've already cut some of these for you. So out of Evening Evergreen, I cut the grass die. On the crumb cake, I used early espresso, and I stamped this image from the stamp several times. And then I die cut out some fence pieces with that. Actually, it goes this way. And I just die cut those right out of there. Okay, so that's how I got those. And then out of smoky slate, here's the dies. Out of smoky slate, I cut the mountain. Out of basic white, I cut the detailed mountain die. That's this die right here. Okay, you just need a small scrap. From a scrap piece of the New Horizons in the green, I cut a hill using this die. And then out of another piece of the New Horizons, I cut this die and made these trees. Okay, and then we're just going to put all of this together, but we're going to do a little bit of stamping to give some of our die cuts a little extra texture. Okay, so let's bring in a scrap piece of paper. I did not like the plainness of the mountain, so I took a stamp from Nature's Harvest. I'm using this stamp right here, this gloppy stamp. It's my I call it my texture stamp. And I'm going to stamp in smoky slate on my mountain. Okay, and I wanted it to be light, so I'm going to stamp off, and then I'm going to stamp on, stamp off, turn my die a little bit, and now you can see how much texture our mountains have, and I really liked that. And I didn't want to leave my mountain details all white, so for that I wanted it to be a lot lighter, so I took some gray granite, not crumb cake, gray granite, and I took that stamp again. So I'm going to clean that real quick. And I'm going to stamp it off again. Actually, this one I'm going to stamp twice. And now we've got a little bit of texture on the detail piece as well. I hope you can see that. Okay. All right, now I'm going to bring in my piece of Designer Series paper. And this one, because I'm using a different one than what I originally did, we're going to go ahead. We may not need to do any stamping on here, but we're going to do some dry fitting to see what we like before we make any decisions. So I'm just going to take some Tombow liquid glue, which I moved into this fine tip bottle. Ooh, I'm going to have to poke it. Okay. Let's see if that got it unstuck. Yep, here we come. I still have a glue ball in there somewhere. Sorry, guys. I bent the original needle. Whoop, there we go. Cut that out now. Okay, now we're good. I need to have one of those really long pins. Okay. And if I had cut this with the adhesive sheets, I wouldn't even have to worry about it. But I didn't. So let that be a suggestion for you. Save yourself some trouble. Cut it on the adhesive sheet. And then you'll have a sticker and it won't matter. Okay. Now we're just going to take and set this down. And I grabbed my silicone sheet so I could protect my surface. And I'm just going to line up the tips of those. And then drop this right there. And line up those edges. And then I'll give that a good press. Okay. Now you can see the double layers of the stamping and how that makes such a difference on those mountains. All right. So let's go ahead and start assembling our card. So the idea is to put these down here along the bottom. Like so. And then I'm going to pick a horizon line up here. And I just wanted to give this a little bit of depth. And then we're going to add our grass. And we'll stick that in behind her. Man, I'm struggling with this tonight. Just picking them up. I've got fumble fingers. All of a sudden. Okay, so we've got that. And then we're going to stick this in here. Well, we're going to attempt to. There we go. And I want to lift that up a bit. Give that, and then I'm going to put my mountains in here. Right up here so they look like they're on the horizon. Okay. And I think that will all work out. So let's go ahead and start gluing down. use a little bit of liquid glue. Actually, all of this is going to get liquid glue because then I can move it around a little bit. Now, I'm not going to press. I'm just going to set this down. And then if I need to move it, I can. So we'll just put these pieces down. And really, once you get these die cuts down, this card's really pretty simple. So we're just going to set that there. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this piece down first. And I'm only putting it at the bottom. I want to leave the texture at the top. So I'm just going to slide this in here like this. And put my tree line in here. And again, I'm only gluing at the bottom. I want to leave my trees. But I'm going to give my tree trunk some stability, since this is designer series paper. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then I'll place my hill right here. Yeah, let's see, let's move this over here. Put our hill a little bit more like this. Okay, and last but not least, we'll add our mountain range. Okay. And I think we're good, so let's go ahead and give those all a tap. Set them down. Then I'm going to take and trim off the edges of this piece. And then we're going to add this to our card front. I think we're going to add a layer on here, which I didn't on my sample card, because my sample card I made it 4 by 5 1/4, and this piece is 3 3/4 by 5. But my mountain range didn't go quite all the way across, and I wanted to ensure that that happened. So let's see. Actually, I'm good with it just like that. So let's go ahead and put this down. Now for this card, I didn't use a sentiment on the front. I thought there was plenty going on in the front. So I decided to leave it blank. I'm just going to center that up. And then on the inside, which did I leave myself? No, I didn't get myself an inside piece. Silly me. Just going to grab a 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. 4 7/8 inch, and then I'm going to take that texture stamp I'm going to clean that one off. Grab out my scrap piece of paper again. I'm going to get the garden green. Oh, actually, we're going to use evening evergreen. That's not going to work out very good. Never mind. We're going to use soft succulent. I'm going to stamp off. Notice how I'm twisting my stamp. Okay. Then I'm going to get my grass stamp again. And I'm going to put that down right there. Get my birds. And I'm going to stamp those in here. And finally, we have relax and enjoy your day. And I'm going to stamp that in early espresso, bringing in the early espresso that I stamped the fence in. So I cut that. That was crumb, early espresso stamped on crumb cake. And we can get that out, that ugly piece of paper out of here. And then we're just going to set this down. And all right, there we have it. And now all we need to do is add it to our card. Whoa. Did y'all start yelling? Don't do it, don't do it. I almost glued that to the back of the card. That would have been bad. Okay, and again, this could be birthday, retirement, Father's Day. All right, and then for the envelope, I've already stamped that. And I took that splatter stamp again in the soft succulent, only this time I went full strength, the evening evergreen, and put the birds up there. And now we've got a nice coordinating card and envelope. All right. Let's bring back in the first card we made. So you can see these projects together. And if you like what you saw tonight and you need to get that bundle, be sure to get right on that, because come tomorrow, everything is while supply lasts. Okay, thanks guys. I love that paper too, Laura. It makes card making so easy. Especially for sceneries. You just can throw some masculine cards together really in no time at all. It doesn't take that long once you sit down with these, especially with the Oceanfront along with this Horizon set. You put those two together and it's so easy to put out a beautiful card. Somebody thinks you spent hours at it, and really it didn't take you that much time at all. All right, well, I hope everybody enjoyed that. I will be pre-ordering from the Holiday Mini tomorrow. And anyway, so we'll have new products soon. And if you need a catalog, let me know. Until next Tuesday, everybody have a fabulous week. Take care, stay healthy, and happy stamping. Good night.